Round 3 of the Capital One Cup signals the arrival of the big boys as the clubs involved in Europe enter the competition. That includes the holders Liverpool, who begin their defence of the trophy away at West Brom. And Newcastle travel to Old Trafford in search of a first away win at Manchester United in 40 years. How will the Magpies fare? We start this week at the Hawthorns. West Brom have already beaten Liverpool 3-0 in the Premier League this season. Steve Clarke's side were looking to make it a double against a team struggling for results under Brendan Rodgers. Steve Wilson watched this one.
Early free kick for West Brom. Goalkeeper Brad Jones comes and he seems to have lost it, and West Bromwich Albion are in front. And Liverpool look at Brad Jones, who came, clutched, lost it, and West Bromwich Albion lead in the 3rd minute of the game. Wisdom in a position to cross. Wasn't convinced that anyone in the middle would get on the end of it. And that's snuck in from Liverpool, with the equaliser from Nuri Sahin. It's not a bad effort, it's a fizzer, it's low, but Foster's just misjudged it. Suso still driving forward. Suso, it's done well. Asaidi square, Sahin scores! Great Liverpool goal, beautifully worked. Nuri Sahin with what might be the winner at the Hawthorns. Dorrans, Olsen's ball towards the back post, danger here, Jones at the near post, good save, Fortune. It's a terrific effort from an unpromising angle.
Our performance level in a lot of the games and the flow and the tempo of our game is really picking up every single day, and as I said, tonight was fantastic, and like I said, it's great to see the kids play with confidence and that nice football arrogance with the ball.
For all the talk of an adjustment period under Villas-Boas, Tottenham haven't tasted defeat since the opening day of the season. They made it 3 wins in a row at Brunton Park. Clint Dempsey had Spurs' first chance. Danny Livesey was Carlisle's last line of defence. Tottenham always looked likely to sidestep this banana skin once Jan Vertonghen gave them the lead. A regular scorer in his Ajax days, this was Vertonghen's first for Spurs. As expected, several of Tottenham's squad players got a game at Brunton Park. Andros Townsend made the most of his run out. His goal 8 minutes after the restart ended Carlisle's challenge. After that, several members of Spurs' new-look squad sensed the opportunity to get off the mark for the club. Goalkeeper Mark Gillespie denied Ryan Mason and then Gylfi Sigurdsson in quick succession. Carlisle boss Greg Abbott said this could be a game to tell the grandchildren about, only if he wants to give them nightmares. Tottenham added a third late on, Sigurdsson getting his goal this time. Spurs go into round 4 for the first time in 3 seasons.
When a side as good as Tottenham come and do everything right as they have and show us that sort of respect and make sure they're professional about everything they do and play the game properly, it's always going to be difficult for our type of sides, and they did it tonight, and you have to give them immense credit for that.
The Premier League's bottom 2 could forget their top-flight struggles for one night, and there was a carefree look about Junior Hoilett at Loftus Road. His first goal for QPR created with some panache. But within 2 minutes, all the good work was undone. Kasper Skorks on the end of Nicky Shorey's free kick, though he kept the reaction low-key out of respect for his former club. Guaranteed to be rather less reserved is Djibril Cissé, who hammered Rangers back in front 19 minutes from time. A fabulous strike greeted with a characteristically flamboyant celebration. only for that to prove premature as Shorey once again showed off his talent for set pieces. A new candidate for goal of the game in a high-quality scoring contest. And Pavel Pogrebniak was next to get in on the act. The audacious flick had Reading in front for the first time with just 9 minutes to go. Rangers couldn't recover, the Russian causing chaos again in the closing seconds to force a foul out of debutant Stefan Mbia. A more conventional chance this time for Pogrebniak, which he squandered. Julio Cesar's save kept the score down, but Brian McDermott's men have finally taken a Premier League scalp this season.
Before this game, Carrow Road took a moment to remember former Norwich manager John Bond, who passed away on Tuesday. The club's second longest serving manager, Bond took the Canaries to the League Cup final in 1975 and would have appreciated the attacking football played by Norwich here. Mark Tierney forced a save out of Gary Woods early on. The Canaries took the lead midway through the first half. Grant Holt was tigerish in the tackle, and Alexander Tetty marked his first Norwich appearance with a debut goal. At the other end, goalkeeper Mark Bunn was also making a first appearance. The closest he came to being beaten was during this goal-mouth scramble. Norwich emerged unscathed in a game where victory should have been more comfortable. But the goals aren't flowing for the Canaries at the moment. Woods save from Holt and Simeon Jackson as Norwich couldn't quite finish off their League One opponents. Holt looked determined to get on the score sheet, but his first goal of the season remains elusive. Norwich sneak through, but need to find those scoring boots.
If you look at the quality that they've got, a lot of experience as well, able to make changes as well. But yeah, we should have perhaps had the game wrapped up a little bit more comfortably than what we did. But delighted to have gone through.
With 11 changes, Arsenal took time to click against League One strugglers Coventry until a milestone moment for Olivier Giroud. 39 minutes in, the £12 million man finally off the mark. So the evening had served one useful purpose for the Gunners, and it was an opportunity too for Andrei Arshavin's first start since January. Reece Brown was panicked by the Russians shortly after the break, handing Giroud another chance to hit back at the critics. Instead, Joe Murphy's excellent save only raised a few more questions. But Coventry's keeper didn't fare as well soon afterwards when Alex Oxlade-Chamberlain set his sights. The youngster's first goal of the season won to savour, and Coventry fans starting to fear the worst. Rightly so. Midway through the half, when possession was conceded cheaply, Arshavin sent out another reminder that he's raring to go. He wasn't the only one out to impress. Theo Walcott craves that central striker's role, and regardless of opposition, finishes like this can only help his cause. By now it was obvious that the Sky Blues' previous League Cup wins would remain their only successes of the season, though a sweeping move topped off by Callum Ball might foster some of the confidence new manager Mark Robins is desperate to instil in the side. It's perfectly possible to bounce back from a hammering at the Emirates, as Southampton can testify, and this was going the same way as Arsenal's last home game. Ignacy Macau heading the Gunners fifth before Walcott broke away in the final minute to make the scoreline identical to that Saints match. 6-1, the club who've made it to the quarter-finals at least for 9 years in a row, clearing this year's first hurdle by a distance.
In the second half, our offensive potential made the difference with Giroud, Walcott, Chamberlain, Arshavin. You had four players, of course, who can make a difference, and they did it. But overall, I was pleased with the attitude and the desire to play and always to go forward from our side.
Next we're off to Old Trafford, where Wayne Rooney was back in action after a month out injured against a Newcastle side so far unable to recapture their form of last season. Commentary comes from Nigel Adderley.
United will try and turn defence into attack here very quickly. It's Welbeck. Hernandez in support. Welbeck may go alone, and Elliott denies him superbly again. Hernandez. Away from Colaccini, and now Welbeck, and here's Rooney, Hernandez, and cleverly! That's a real sitter. Anderson. Away from Gosling! Brilliant! Anderson's first goal for nearly a year is one to remember. Hernandez. He's been quiet so far in the second half, but here's Cleverley. And now Rooney may open up for him. Welbeck. Cleverley. And that should be it. And this time, Tom Cleverley makes no mistake. Ferguson. That's a decent ball in. Cissé's there! And how about that for an instant impact? Papi Cissé with his first goal of the season. And the two subs combined to haul Newcastle back into this game. But here's a chance for Hernandez. Off the woodwork. Cissé. Oh, that's brilliant! So unlucky. Papi Cissé, inches away from what would have been a picture-book equaliser.
Still to come, we've a thriller at Ellen Road as Leeds United aim for an upset against high flyers Everton. Plus, Premier League champions Manchester City host an Aston Villa side who've made a slow start to the campaign. To Ellen Road now. It's been 44 years since Leeds won the League Cup. Everton were the team to beat if they were to progress to the fourth round. Commentary comes from John Roeder.
By Cole. Francisco Junior. Picked up here now for Leeds by Aidan White. And it's Aidan White all the way! What a start for Leeds United! And it's a surging and scything run through the centre of the Everton defence. And it's a fine finish past Mucker as well. Just the start that Leeds United wanted. Due into the second of the 2 additional minutes at the end of this half. And it's a second goal. Oh, almost a second goal. Did it cross the line? Assistant says no. Becchio with the header. Mucker keeps it out. Pina. Lovely ball, Naismith! Oh, it's a free header for the Scottish international. And Ichibi creating a little bit of room for himself. And Naismith's glancing header is well wide. Diouf seems to have taken every set piece for Leeds tonight. Chance for the shot on goal, it's gone in! Off Austin! It's my goal, says the Jamaican international. It most certainly is. Towards Distan. Everton will believe they have a chance of a fight back. There's still plenty of time to get a second goal, but they desperately needed this first one. Will it score or go out surely for Everton? Pienaar with the free kick. Ashdown with the clear catch. And that is it. Leeds United have knocked Everton out of the Capital One League Cup. It's finished at Ellen Road. Leeds United 2, Everton 1.
To play like we did, not just get the result, but deserve it, and play like we did and scored 2, could have had a few more. I thought we were excellent tonight. I didn't think there was a weakness.
It all started well for the Premier League champions. Former Villa man James Milner providing Mario Balotelli with the chance to open the scoring on 27 minutes. The Villains' defence must be sick of the sight of the Italian. That his 6th goal in 4 games against them. It wasn't a happy reunion for another ex-Villa player, as Gareth Barry steered Andreas Weiman's cross into his own net with an hour played. City still without a clean sheet this season. Alexander Kolarov scored with a free kick at the Bernabeu last Tuesday and was on target with another set piece to restore the home side's lead soon after. But Paul Lambert's call for his men to pick themselves up and put on a show for their fans after the thumping at Southampton had the desired effect. Gabriel Agbonlahor taking the tie into extra time. City's defence was less than watertight for the next goal they conceded as well. Agbonlahor bursting through once again, with Charles N'Zogbia on hand to gobble up the rebound. Agbonlahor had the final say himself. His double strike the England international's first goal since January. City have now conceded 13 times in their 7 games this season. Villa bouncing back well.
We are disappointed because it was the only trophy that we didn't win, because in 2 years we won everything, and we wanted to try to win this cup.
For Chelsea, a gentle canter into the last 16. Juan Mata was the standout creator in a much-changed side. His free kick invited Gary Cahill to open the scoring inside the first 5 minutes. Inside the first 10, after a decent stop by Doris de Vries from Oriol Romeu, 18-year-old Brazilian debutant Lucas Piathon kept the ball alive for Ryan Bertrand to rifle the second. And still inside the first 20, after a gorgeous exchange of passes, first with Ramirez and then Fernando Torres, Mata himself rolled in a sumptuous third. Men and boys. All of which rendered the last hour plus rather surplus to requirements. Regardless, de Vries sent Victor Moses spinning, and protests notwithstanding, Romeu was able to snaffle his first goal in Chelsea blue. Then, courtesy of a Mata corner, Torres laid claim with a splendid header to the goal that his own self-esteem probably needed. And Moses also plundered his first Chelsea goal to become the 6th different scorer on the night. There were still 20 minutes to play. Mercifully for Wolves, Chelsea declared early.
Having lost their last 2 Premier League games, Swansea boss Michael Laudrup told his players this was a chance to rediscover that winning feeling. And they were on course to do just that when Michu superbly curled home his 5th goal since joining in the summer. But Crawley have given Manchester United and Stoke a run for their money in cup competitions before, and having rallied well after falling behind, Josh Simpson's deflected effort drew them level on the stroke of half-time. The League One side then had the better of it after the restart and deservedly led with half an hour to play through Hope Akpan's tidy finish. With Swansea now heading for another exit to lower league opposition, having gone out to Shrewsbury last season, Laudrup introduced Danny Graham, and the substitute didn't take long to make an impact, levelling with a quarter of an hour to play. Captain Gary Monk then marked his first appearance of the season with an injury time winner for the Swans, but that didn't detract from Richie Barker's pride in his men's performance.
Hitherto unbeaten at Upton Park this season, West Ham were given cause for further uplift when an error from James MacArthur presented Mali's Modibo Maiga with his 2nd goal of the competition. It was a moment, however, which was far from indicative of how the evening would develop. Argentine Mauro Boselli has been fringe at best since his original arrival at Wigan 2 years ago, but as in the last round, it was he who snaffled the first of 4 away goals. By half-time, the deal was more or less done. Spanish centre-half Ivan Ramis was given unwarranted freedom to foray forward and thunder his first goal since coming from Mallorca. And then Boselli added a finish of the sort which suggests he might finally be finding himself in the English game. Perhaps it was that chip which caused Sam Allardyce to opine that his Hammers couldn't defend a fish supper. And sure enough, Wigan put the salt, vinegar and ketchup on it when goalkeeper Stephen Henderson hauled down MacArthur, and Jordi Gomez did the rest. Wigan through with undue comfort.
Swindon are getting used to upsetting higher division sides under Paolo Di Canio. This was the 8th occasion they'd managed to do so since the Italian took over at the county ground. Paul Benson sweeping the Robins into a 19th minute lead before Andy Williams bagged his 3rd goal in as many games just before half-time. Former Swindon striker Charlie Austin came into the tie, having scored twice in each of his last 2 matches, and he gave Burnley some hope with 16 minutes to play. But the Robins' first appearance in the 4th round since the mid-90s was sealed by Troy Archibald Henville's header to leave Di Canio dreaming of a date with one of the big boys.
Southampton's self-esteem was hugely reinforced by the eventual arrival at the weekend of their first Premier League win of the season. Riding that wave, Jay Rodriguez enhanced the mood further with a sharply taken first Saints goal since his pricey move from Burnley. No question Wednesday contributed. Their brand new Slovenian Nec Pečnik was particularly mischievous and drew one notable save from Paolo Gazzaniga. However, any notion of an upset was thoroughly deleted when 12 minutes from time Joe Mattock went rolling around with Steve de Ridder, and referee Mark Halsey, freed from the frenzy of his Anfield duties on Sunday, awarded an entirely uncontentious penalty. Rodriguez again, now feeling right at home in the south.
Middlesbrough New Deepdale had become a bit of a graveyard for Championship clubs in this season's competition, with Huddersfield and Crystal Palace seen off here in previous rounds. But the Teessiders were 2-0 up inside of 18 minutes. First, Emmanuel Ledesma's corner beat everyone to roll in via the post, although Andrew Halliday did his best to claim the goal for himself. Borough's second was a lot more clear-cut. Merouane Zamama given the space to chance his arm from distance, and the Moroccan took full advantage. Preston have been in free scoring form on their own patch of late, racking up 14 goals in their last 4 home games, and they found the net at Deepdale once again after a nice move was finished off by Jack King just before the break. But despite making 11 changes from last week's win at Blackburn, Tony Mowbray's men enjoyed their second trip to the northwest in the space of 5 days, with Richard Smallwood pouncing on the hour mark to seal the victory.
This was Sunderland's first ever visit to Milton Keynes, for an assignment which, given the Dons' super early season form, had the feeling of something potentially troublesome. The more so when, barely half an hour in, Lee Catamol's lunge at Adam Chickson led to the Sunderland skipper's 5th sending off in 79 games for the club. Happily though, his teammates responded admirably. 10 minutes into the second half, Craig Gardner hit a beaut of a free kick, which Dons manager Carl Robinson admitted took the stuffing out of us. Odd to think that a year ago James McLean was still a couple of months short of his Sunderland debut. These days he's one of their go-to men. He scored twice against Morecambe in the last round, and 8 minutes from the end he slalomed through to settle it for a manager still vexed by his captain.
Burton boss Gary Rowett admitted his side were a bit lucky to be 2-0 up inside of half an hour. 18 minutes on the clock when Billy Key arrived at pace to smash home Jack Dyer's cross. And the visitors' hopes of progressing beyond the 3rd round, the first ever time, were looking good when Aaron Webster's header just squeezed over the line. But Bradford came into the game with 4 wins from 4 on their own patch this season, and a late double from Nahki Wells took the tie into extra time. Having scored a last-minute leveller at the weekend, Burton were pegged back by 1 on this occasion. Rowett had been wary about the threat the Bantams would pose from set pieces, and his fears were realised when Wells touched in James Hansen's overhead kick. Penalties were on the cards until Stephen Darby let fly with 5 minutes of extra time remaining to cap a fine comeback and take the Bantams the furthest they've been in a quarter of a century.
the lads thoroughly deserve it, and it's great. First time in 25 years we're in the hat for the last 16, and we can enjoy that draw, and let's hope we get a really good one, because everybody in the club, the players, supporters and the board of directors certainly deserve it.
A quick look at the fourth round draw, and there's a North East derby as Sunderland host Middlesbrough. Swindon have earned themselves a trip to Premier League side Aston Villa. Chris Hughton's Norwich face Tottenham, while Brendan Rodgers takes Liverpool to his former club Swansea. The pick of the ties though sees Manchester United travel to West London to face Chelsea.